Welcome back to the Vietnam series. In this episode, we leave the mountains and head south to the nation's capital of Hanoi. So far the weather had been quite reasonable, with only a few showers coming on and off and nothing really too heavy, but we were aware of a couple large typhoon systems that were forecast to hit Vietnam over the next few days. One of them to the north of Hanoi and up into the mountains over near the Chinese border, and then another one along the eastern coast from Hue to Hanoi. Luckily we weren't forecast to get any direct hits, but there were certainly signs already of floods and road damage ahead. As we came down the mountains, we found this little river just off the side of the road, so we thought we'd have a little stop and go for a swim.
Very nice.
We picked back up the following day at Bay Lake, where overnight the rains had decided to set in. The owner of our homestay had very kindly organised a boat trip for us to take us across the lake.
Interesting. I don't trust my front tyre, so I don't want to stand. Oh, fuck me.
too bad.
I made it.
We made it out of the mud and back onto some surface road. We didn't have too far of a journey to go today, but the rain was coming down pretty hard, so we were pretty keen just to make it to the next stop. The following morning, we awoke to heavy rain. As we passed through the town near our homestay, most of the roads were beginning to flood.
I'm having fun.
What's so cool?
It's sick.
we made it through the town and to our turn off onto the freeway. What we didn't know is that in Vietnam, motorcycles aren't allowed on the expressways. However, because it was so wet and all the chaos of the flooding roads, I was just running off maps connected to my headset. So we just jumped on the freeway and hope for the best.
Do you know where to turn here?
No, I need to check it. But apparently we're not allowed on the main highway.
Why?
No bikes on the main highway.
No bikes.
No bikes on the main highway, apparently.
According to who?
Well, Alex. Why? You said someone was just swing at us when we went on. There was no bikes when we went on there. See our dual cars? How deep is it? It's back.
Yeah, maybe you could go through there and right, but I'm not sure.
We made it to this little parking lot and checked the map. Turns out we were still around 80 kilometers from Hanoi. Now, the road we should have taken was the one in front of us under the bridge. That's the main route which motorcycles are allowed on, but that was very much flooded, so our only option was to jump back on the freeway. Usually if the weather and road conditions were like this, we would have just stayed put for a couple of days and waited for the water level to drop. But our mate Josh had a flight out of Hanoi that evening, so we had to get back to the city so he could drop off his motorbike. made it back into Hanoi around mid-afternoon. We dropped Josh and his bike off, said goodbye, and then headed for our hotel in the city. The rain was pretty relentless that afternoon. It took us over 6 hours just to go 100 k's.
We have 5 people, so 1, 2, 3, we need 4 beds. 4 beds? So where, bikes? Where do you want the bikes?
Yeah, you can just put it here and maybe just
over that side?
arrange.
Yeah.
It's okay for you.
Yeah. That was hectic. Like it down here. We made it. Fucking alive.